In the summer of 2011, the town of Port St. Lucie, Florida, was rocked by a crime that seemed unimaginable in its brutality and callousness. On July 16th, 17-year-old Tyler Hadley committed an act of brutality on his parents, Blake and Mary-Jo Hadley, in their own home. What followed was even more shocking. Tyler would throw a massive house party with the evidence of his crime still hidden in the master bedroom, and nearly got away with his witless act of savagery. This is the story of the Tyler Hadley murders. Blake and Mary-Jo Hadley were well-respected members of their community. Blake, an engineer at the St. Lucie nuclear power plant, and Mary-Jo, an elementary school teacher, were known for their dedication and kindness. They moved to Port St. Lucie from Fort Lauderdale in 1983 to be closer to Blake's parents. Their family life seemed idyllic from the outside, but beneath the surface, there were growing concerns about their younger son, Tyler. Born on December 16, 1993, Tyler Hadley had a troubled childhood. From an early age, he exhibited signs of emotional instability and behavioral issues. His parents sought help, enrolling him in counseling and later prescribing him various medications to manage his depression and ADHD. Despite these efforts, Tyler's behavior grew increasingly erratic and violent, leading to multiple run-ins with the law, including charges of arson and theft. The events of July 16, 2011, began with a Facebook post from Tyler at 1:15 p.m. "Party at my crib tonight, maybe." This seemingly innocuous post masked a sinister plan. By 8:15 p.m., Tyler confirmed the party. "Party at my house, HMU." What no one knew was that Tyler had already viciously executed his parents. Earlier that afternoon, Tyler took 3 ecstasy pills to steel himself for what he was about to do. He then retrieved a claw hammer from the garage and approached his mother, Mary-Jo, who was working at the family computer. After standing behind her for several minutes, he began his attack, striking her repeatedly with the hammer. Hearing his wife's screams, Blake rushed from the bedroom, only to be met with the same horrific fate. Tyler's father asked him, "Why?" To which Tyler chillingly responded, "Why the f*** not?" After the murders, Tyler spent the next 3 hours attempting to clean up the gruesome scene. He dragged his parents' bodies into the master bedroom, covered them with household items, and disposed of evidence. He then used his parents' credit cards to withdraw cash, buy drugs, and prepare for the party. By midnight, over 60 people had gathered at the Hadley home. Unaware of the bodies lying just a few feet away, the partygoers drank, smoked, and partied hard, oblivious to the horror that had transpired. Tyler, described as nervous and erratic, fluctuated between moments of euphoria and agitation. At one point, he confided in his best friend, Michael Mandel, telling him about the murders. Initially, Michael didn't believe him, but Tyler insisted and eventually showed him the bodies. In shock, Michael took a selfie with Tyler, thinking it would be their last photo together. At 4:24 a.m., Michael called Crime Stoppers to report the murders. The police arrived shortly after, finding Tyler in a state of agitation and the house in disarray. Upon discovering the bodies, they arrested Tyler on the spot. His initial demeanor was described as frantic and uncooperative, with large pupils indicating drug use. In court, Tyler pleaded no contest to 2 counts of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The judge described the crime as brutal, heinous, and premeditated. Despite appeals and attempts to overturn the sentence, citing new juvenile sentencing guidelines, Tyler remains incarcerated to this very day. A just punishment for a heinous act from a suspect who had a long history of mental health issues, exacerbated by his drug use. He expressed feelings of anger and resentment towards his parents, who he felt were overly controlling and punitive. The decision to kill them and throw a party can in this vein be seen as an act of defiance, a twisted assertion of independence and control. However, this does not fully account for the sheer brutality of the act. Tyler's actions suggest a profound disconnect from reality and a lack of empathy. characteristics often associated with severe psychological disorders. The use of ecstasy, a drug known to heighten emotions and alter perception, likely played a significant role in lowering his inhibitions and enabling him to carry out the murders. While Tyler is undoubtedly responsible for his actions, the role of his parents in this tragic story cannot be overlooked. Blake and Mary-Jo Hadley were devoted parents who tried various means to help their troubled son. However, their methods, particularly the use of multiple psychiatric medications, may have had unintended consequences. The question of whether they could have done more to prevent this tragedy is a difficult one. They sought professional help, imposed disciplinary measures, and tried to keep Tyler engaged in positive activities. Yet their efforts ultimately failed to address the root causes of his behavior. This raises important questions about the adequacy of mental health support for troubled youth and the responsibilities of parents in managing such complex issues. Tyler's case also highlights the critical importance of early intervention and comprehensive support for at-risk youth. His behavioral issues were well documented, yet the measures taken were insufficient to prevent this tragedy. This failure points to systemic gaps in how society addresses juvenile delinquency and mental health. If you found this story unsettling, brace yourself for our next tale. The horrifying case of a teenage boy who committed an unimaginable act of violence against his schoolmate will leave you questioning the depths of human nature. This story is not for the faint of heart. Subscribe if you dare.